Hello all and welcome back to the Pipe Cottage. I have enjoyed a pipe or two today, and mostly what I've been enjoying is this Costello uh, that you can see there. It's just a beautiful pipe. And today I've been smoking again my Mixture 965. I'm not smoking right now because I want to talk. But I have also been enjoying, well, just let me show you this while I got it. This beautiful Boswell. This Boswell is probably from, I don't even know. Was this an estate pipe that I bought? Yeah, this was an estate pipe that I actually bought from 2013. Wonderful pipe. And actually, Boswell is putting some St. Patrick's Day pipes up for sale this evening. I don't think I'm going to try and buy one because I don't need any more pipes. I need another pipe as about as much as I need another hole in my head. And people, several people were asking in one of my last videos what was the pipe lighter that I was using. This one right here. What were you using? That's just a Vertigo. It's made by Vertigo. I bought it at Schwab's Pipe Shop in Lexington, Kentucky. I think I paid maybe $25 for this, if that. But it works beautifully. It kind of, and most of the time, I'm using this more than I am Corona, which costs well over $100. So I can, and the interesting thing about these, now this is not what the video is about. I'm just answering a question that I received from a lot of people. It's got this beautiful tamper on it. See, this is wonderful. It's got pipe tools. It's got a tamper. It's got a pick. And whatever this thing is, I use it to scoop out the dawdle in the bottom of the bowl. But this is probably one of the best buys you can find. And this actually will probably be the most interesting part of the video to most people who watch this. This is what people will be interested in. That's fine. Love this lighter. It's wonderful. Easy to fill up. And I've had it for a couple of years now. And have had no problems as long as you keep it filled. There's no wick. There's nothing that you have to really replace on a regular occasion. Just mash the button and watch it roll. So anyway, that's what's going on in the pipe world these days. The main point of the video, however, does not have anything to do with pipe smoking. The point has to do with my concerns about Maga, Make America Great Again. This is not I put out a live stream. I did a live stream 2 or 3 days ago. And it received more attention than what I anticipated. And I decided that if I wanted to talk about the topic anymore, we'd best not do it over a live stream. My wife told me, so you can't wear that jacket in all your videos. Well, why the hell not? I can wear whatever I want to wear, as long as I got something on. My concerns with Maga. This is shocking to me. The comments that I heard, that I read from that video, some of which I deleted because they were very, very nasty. It was shocking what the common denominator was. The common denominator among the people who did not like that video was simply this: the Constitution is now irrelevant. Trump should do whatever is necessary because we are in a time of war. We shouldn't pay attention to the Constitution. We should just let Trump do what he wants to do. The Constitution be damned. Now, I am not saying that Trump is trampling on the Constitution. I'm not saying that I disagree with the majority of things that Trump wants to accomplish. What I'm saying is that my concern has to do with the way most people who claim to be conservative think about the role of the federal government and the nature of the constitutional republic. I'm very concerned about that. It's a little bit similar to some Catholics that I know and that I see commenting on some of my material on social media when they talk about the Pope. Do you know that there are Catholics who think that as the Pope is currently dealing with a very serious health issue and he's probably moving towards death, there are Catholics on social media saying that we should pray for the conversion of his soul. We should pray for his conversion. Well, unless I have some really dumb idea of language and what the word conversion means, it would appear as if there are many Catholics who think that the Pope is not even a Christian. And so these people completely undermine any argument they might have for Catholicism. You can't say, now I'm getting back to the Constitution in a minute, but just listen to me for a second on this point. I'm using this as an analogy. If you want to persuade people that Catholicism is real, that the Catholic Church is what it claims to be, then Catholics need to act like they're Catholic. They do not need to go on social media and say that the Pope is somehow not the Pope, that he's somehow not even Christian. You have completely undermined your entire argument for Catholicism. You have completely undermined your witness for the church. Go back to the Constitution. So-called conservatives who think that Trump should be allowed to do whatever he thinks necessary, regardless as to what the Constitution says. Folks who say that are not constitutional, conservative, traditional Americans. You're trying to create something else, not a constitutional republic. You're trying to, you think that whatever is necessary, Trump needs to do it and the Constitution be damned. Whatever he wants to do, we trust him. Whatever he thinks is necessary to preserve whatever he wants to preserve, that's what we need to follow. You think I'm stupid. You think I don't know what I'm talking about. Folks, the only way to convince people, even people of our own country, that the Constitution matters is to act like the Constitution matters. Same thing with the example I just used to you as an analogy. If you want to persuade people that the Catholic Church matters, then act like you're Catholic. If you want to believe that the Constitution matters, act like you believe in the Constitution, not a person. The Constitution is bigger than the executive office. The Constitution is bigger than any single executive. You have to obey the Constitution. You have to abide by an originalist interpretation of the Constitution. There is no living Constitution. And I am entirely in favor of Antonin Scalia on all this. And if you're watching this and you have never heard of who Antonin Scalia is, then you probably don't have any idea about what I'm saying, which would not surprise me. It would not surprise me at all. I taught high school history for 3 years in South Carolina at a private Christian school. The first year that I started teaching at that school, the senior history class, I was the high school history teacher. I taught history, government, and economics. This was before I finished my doctorate. It's just a long time ago. Long story. We won't go into it. But I taught high school history for 3 years. The first year I arrived, I am teaching the senior class at this private, supposedly elite Christian school in South Carolina, and nobody in the class could tell me the difference between the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. People who are 16, 17 years old, 18 years old, they don't understand anything about it. How is this possible? I've seen video after video of people who go to college campuses and they ask random students who are enrolled at these colleges, what was the American Revolution about? When did the American Civil War happen? Have you ever heard of the United States Constitution? Most of these people are complete morons. They can't answer any of this. And so what I see happening on both sides of the aisle, both Democrat and Republican, is that neither side knows very much about the history of the United States. They know very little, if anything, about what the Constitution says, and they frankly don't care. That's the dangerous part. They simply do not care. As much as I agree with many of the policies and many of the things that Trump wants to accomplish in this country, my concern is that many of the people who voted for him do not care about the constitutional limitations of the executive branch. They genuinely believe that the Constitution has failed and that Trump is going to save America. Now, that's not simply me coming up with that. That comes from me reading comment after comment after comment on X, on YouTube, from many, many people who have told me this is the common denominator again now, that, well, the Constitution really is not something that we should pay attention to right now. What Trump wants to do, we need to find a way to let him do it. Whatever he wants to do, just let him do it. Because he's our man. He's the guy we voted for. He's the team. He's the leader of our team. People are approaching American politics as if it's a video game, as if it's a football game. Who gives a shit about the rules? Who gives a shit about what came before us? We're winning. And to keep winning, we do whatever we want to do. That's a dangerous precedent. When you establish that precedent, the same can be done with the next administration and the next administration. What this country needs is order and stability. It needs order and stability. It does not need Maga. It does not need Make America Great Again. I don't think Trump understands very much at all about American history, and I don't think he understands very much at all about the Constitution or the history of how that document came about. I don't think it's on his radar. He's a businessman from New York City who also has a place in South Florida, which, by the way, is not Southern at all. It's just South Florida. Those talents that he brings to the executive branch are useful. The talents are useful. To be able to make deals is useful. But why can't we have a president that adores and honors and cherishes and actually knows and understands American history? That's why I say this is not conservatism. What we're seeing with MAGA is not conservatism. It is populism. Populism is dangerous. It's very dangerous. It is prone to demagoguery. It is prone to the development of a sycophantic attitude. I already see this happening across social media. I see these sycophants bowing down to the executive branch because they want to use Trump's popularity to increase their own. I remember in 2015 when he announced that he was going to run for president, most conservatives that I knew at the time just couldn't believe it. So this is just not, how could this happen? How is this possible? And it's not, they were not saying that because they were concerned that he would be a bad president. They were concerned that they were concerned about what this really means and what this indicates about the nature of American society. What does this mean about the nature of American society? Why can't we have a person who is extremely intelligent historically and philosophically, not just business-wise? So, and I hope that Trump is able to achieve many of his objectives. I don't think that we need to follow some of his objectives. We have no reason to own Greenland. We have no reason to make Canada the 51st state. We shouldn't have a damn thing to do with Gaza. That's Israel's priority, not mine, and not ours. We shouldn't even be talking about Gaza. We should be talking about Washington and how to reduce that power without increasing the power of the federal government. There's this little strip of land north of the Potomac called Washington, D.C., that, quite frankly, is a mess. And I understand that Trump is trying to solve that mess. But again, that's not my main issue. My main issue at this point has to do with this Make America Great Again theme. What period are you looking to as a parallel? Make it great again. Okay, when in your mind was it great, and when did that period exist? And what defined that greatness? When did that greatness end? How is that greatness defined? Is it just economically? Or does it have something more to do with spirituality? Does it have something to do with philosophy or law? If we're making America great again, what period of time in American history do we think epitomizes American greatness? That's a question that I guarantee you 90% of the MAGA folks can't answer. They may point to Reagan. They may point to the 1980s, some point during their lifetime. And that's fine. That's not a bad thing. But my concerns are mounting. My concerns about what MAGA indicates regarding the trajectory of American government and American history, it is concerning to me because it's not conservatism. I'm not in favor of the current policies of the Democrat Party. I am not in favor of the direction that the Democrat Party has taken over the past 60 or 70 years. But I also think we need to take a more balanced view of what Donald Trump's second term is going to mean in the long view of American society and American history. This is just a continuation of things that I continue to think about. I'm not done thinking about it. I'm not trying to give you ideas that I think are set in stone. I'm just sharing with you the development of some thoughts as they come to me. I'm still developing my thoughts about not simply Trump, not simply MAGA, but more importantly, I think my interest rests in the spiritual and intellectual condition of the country. I think that's fair. The spiritual and intellectual condition, the current status intellectually of the country. And it's not good. My thoughts are not favorable. I mean, people are looking at Trump's election as the saving grace of America. I don't think that at all. I better stop before I start saying stuff that might not make any sense, because now I'm starting to get into some issues that I've not really thought through well enough to make a public comment on. But anyway, we will continue. This is Alan Harrelson with the Pipe Cottage. Thank you for stopping by.